One question from Chris McCoskey of the Detroit News.
Gardy, your first go around with this extra inning stuff, kind of stress does that put on you, just in terms of getting the right runner in there, and your bullpen was already used by the time you got to it?
Yeah, all that you said is exactly right. So, you're just trying to figure out a way to get that run in at the places there, really in some of those situations, you might be able to bunt them over to third. But I think, if you start a guy at first base, then you bunt him over to second base to get him in runners in scoring position. So he's already out there. We might as well take 3 shots at trying to get him in. I thought that parts of the lineup were pretty good to do that. So.
What was your biggest takeaway from this? I mean, a lot of, you gave up the leads. You had some rough innings in there, but the offense just kept putting up runs. Was that the bigger takeaway? The resiliency, I guess.
Yeah, the guys were into it in the dugout, and came up with some big hits when we had to, and we gave up some big runs. Our bullpen faltered a little bit, and it was a crazy one. The ball was flying around pretty good out there, and all you can do is just keep pumping at it and keep going at it. We were able to stop them and not let them score anymore, which, lose the ball game. And, we used a whole ton of bullpen, and it started with our starter. I mean, he had a rough time. He just, we trying to get him through the 5th inning, trying to let him have that opportunity with a 1-run lead, and he hung a slider again. So, 90 pitches, it's a lot of pitches in 5 innings, but you see what ends up happening when that starter, doesn't give you into the second half of the game. It becomes a lot of pitchers pitching, and then you got extra innings. So we used a lot of people. There'll be people out there that can go back to back, so we should be fine.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Our next question comes from Jason Beck from MLB.com.
Yeah, Gardy, you answered my question on Boyd that I was going to ask, but with Joe, he struck out the first 2 batters, had no 2 count the next guy. Did it look like those long at-bats after that just kind of wore him out, or was it just one bad pitch?
I think he ended up with 20-something pitches too, 20 whatever it was, and it's a lot of pitches for your closer. He had a good fastball going, and there was a couple of times we were sitting there going, just bury the slider, bounce it in the dirt, throw that hard slider they're going to chase, and he just misfired with it enough, So just one of those things. Closers go through it. I mean, he had his chances. He got 2 quick outs and had a chance to get out of it. He just couldn't do it. And they had some quality at bats, and there you have it. That's what ends up happening. And then you hang a slider, and it's a 3-run homer, and here we are tied again. So crazy stuff happened in that game, and I guess that's why we all love to play it.
Once you get to extra innings in that situation, and whoever you're bringing in is going to have a runner on second, how does that, if any, factor into who you choose to throw out there, or is it just kind of
the first one was Jonesy? That was really simple. Jonesy's going to lead off at second base. That's really easy. But then you start looking, down the road there. I mean, one was Crony there at the end, and we thought about just letting him run in because we were very limited on the bench. But then you got Castro sitting over there. We need to score. So you run him in there, and I can't remember how many other guys because the game's too long for me to remember all that stuff. I'm old. So there was just a lot of things happening. We were spinning on the bench trying to figure this thing out. First time we've done it. And, fortunately for us, we won the game.
I actually meant on the pitching side, whoever you bring.
Oh, geez. We were just trying to use them all. You forget matchups in those situations. Once we got past our closer, it's like these are the arms we have, and we just want to stop each inning. And there was a lot of people. It came down, honestly, the next guy was funky. He was going to be the next guy out there if it didn't work. We put all the ones in there that we think can stop things at the end, and some young guys come in later, and that's what you have. Soto and those guys did their job. Farmer had a tough time tonight, which that's the first time in a long time he's had a tough time. So, but it happens. That's why the game's so great. Stuff like that happens, and you have to ad-lib, and you have to just keep ad-libbing, and that game had it all.